Yeah.
I've been coaching for a long, long time now, but yeah,
Right.
2 days ago, I officially launched my business, and it's because that day was a very, very important day to me. And I just wanted to, one thing that I've learned, and one of the programs that I have is I actually made it myself, is the process of detaching. So when you
Right.
are, so one of the things that I did, I started, because 11 years is a long, long time when you live with someone. Everything you have it's common, right? So I
Yeah.
started to detach myself. Like, for example, for 6 months, I wouldn't listen to any music. But then I started making new memories with each music. And then I started
Right.
to change all the dates that were important to me, that would make me nostalgic or make me
Right.
sad or make me mad. So that day, again, it's crazy that a year ago, this time, I was like crying and I was hitting my head to the wall. But like, that day was really important because I wanted to make a big deal out of it for me and change it to a better day.
Right.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
No, it really was very touching, and it kept you wants to watch it, And like I said, I don't believe in 1 or 2 minutes video. It depends on who you're targeting. A story says everything, and it'll draw people into it and to
yeah.
continue listening to it.
Yeah, and it's,
So
again, it's
and
first
that's
step. It was first step, and then I'm actually
yeah.
making a web. I'm making a web, a web ebook kind of thing. So it's gonna be.
Right.
Every week I'm gonna add a 6 to 7 minute to. I'm gonna go back and everything that happened to me on that beach or the after I came out of the house with the lesson. So it's gonna be just added to it as we go along. Yeah.
That's
Hi
awesome.
guys,
Well,
let's start. Thank you.
well, let me formally introduce myself, because last time I was trying to get used to this thing, so I never really got a chance to introduce myself properly. Well, I am an NLP master trainer. What that is I certify people in becoming hypnotherapist, timeline therapy, NLP practitioner, and coach. So, and I also am a master hypnotherapist, timeline therapy, coaching, NLP. So, what we do, I help people let go of problems they thought that was impossible to let go. And then I also coach businesses and a lot of people. And in addition to that, I also am a nutritionist. Obviously, I'm a competitor. So I have a lot going on, so I'm always, working with people and how to help myself and others as well, and I really enjoy it. I don't see it as work. It's something that's passion. The fact that
Exactly.
you out there and you helping people, and that's why when you brought this up, I thought it was a great idea to talk about a variety of different topics, especially now. I think people need to hear this, and maybe I'm not here to tell people what to do, but maybe things that you could say or you're doing can tap into someone's subconscious mind and make him see the problem differently. You know what I mean? That makes
Exactly.
sense?
Yes, of course. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So this topic that we chose was focus and believe. It's very interesting to me because at this time I think a lot of people focus. There's a saying to say, I don't know if you ever heard this energy. It says wherever you focus is, that's where
Energy
your energy
flows.
goes,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So what that means is that wherever you focus, you will feel. You agree?
Exactly,
So
yeah.
so so remember last time I asked you if you remember the last time you stepped on stage and you were like, right? So you already see how you felt, right? Like you feel the energy, you feel something different, right?
I
so so
know.
so let me ask another question. Remember if I remember when you talk about your relationship, if I tell you, do you remember what it was like? Whatever, it brings a different emotion, and you can see you went from laughing, so you actually feeling.
Exactly.
So wherever your focus is, you will feel. It's very important, and I just wish people can understand that. And I'll give you a few tips towards the end how you change your focus. You know what I mean? With some of the techniques you can do to change your focus. And then the next one is believe. For me, whatever you believe becomes your experience. You understand what that means? So another example, for example, if you see this man down the road, right, and he gets so excited because he just won the lottery, but all he has is a piece of paper, a blank piece of paper. It's like, dude, why are you so excited? You know, it's
Exactly.
like it's got nothing in it. It's just a piece of paper. But he believes that that piece of paper represents money. You know what I mean? Money, whatever amount you want to
And
put
it
on it.
does. And it does.
So
You know, that's the thing.
exactly. So whatever you believe become your experience. You understand?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you know, knowing the definition of those two, and also one more step I'd like to ask. The words that we say to ourselves sometimes, you know, becomes our experience, right?
Exactly.
So if I were to say to you, you are the nicest down to earth person I ever met, right? And I'm giving you all this nice stuff, it makes you feel differently. You're like, okay, and you start experiencing that. Versus if I say to you, oh, you are a horrible person, and just start calling you all the F word, all the names, you have a different experience, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that becomes a different experience. So these things right now, I think people at this stage, whatever's going on, people needs to hear the stuff, how you change those beliefs and the focus and the words that you say to yourself, you know, or if you say to yourself, you know what, I'm a new coach, you know, I don't think this is going to work for me. I'm not going to be able to get clients. Guess what? You're going to feel that. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? So you're
Yeah.
going to experience that. So, or versus if you say to yourself, you know what, I don't have clients now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to have clients. So you have a different experience when you say these things to yourself. You understand what I'm saying? It's very. I always tell people there's someone else that's listening to you beside you when you say certain things to yourself.
You know, you totally. That's totally. That's. I'm totally agree with you. But I believe that that's not like a neurologist. I was actually reading your resume, and you have a great background. You know, into the mind, into NLP, but one thing that I think that we have a different style, because you are more into the logical part, and I've given up that logical part. I was, but I'm more into. I'm not gonna say spiritual, no, because I believe we are both. We are both human and spirit, and there's a
Right.
fine line and alignment. You know, that's why the two that you're talking about, the two that the thing that I was dealing with this me that was horrible, and this me that didn't want to be bad. And then
Right.
the worse this one gets, the horrible I felt, and the more we hated each other. I'm saying like it was a split. It was literally split between me and me, till I learned to sat by myself, to coach myself, to do the stuff, everything that happened now is a state of alignment. And
Right.
sometimes my client tell me like, how can you be always happy? I tell them there's no such a thing as always happy. We
Right.
don't
Right.
get,
Right.
we don't get to choose whatever that. I believe that I'm a creative of my life. I've been a creative of my life since I was 5 years old, without knowing. But
Right.
even that, we cannot choose what happened to us all the time, but we can choose how we deal with whatever happened to us all the time, right? My car,
Absolutely.
for example, my car got stolen, okay? And I was
Your
laughing.
what? Your car got
Yeah,
stolen.
exactly. My car got stolen. And I was laughing. And the police officer was like, lady, you're too chill. And I was like, tell me this, officer, what can I do now? If I hit my head to the wall in front of you and the blood gashes out, what's going to
Right.
happen? Will you find my car right now? And he was like, you're right. So I get to choose. Still, it's been like a week. I don't have a car, and I'm still laughing. Not because I'm an irresponsible person, because there's nothing I can do. I've been paying for insurance. My insurance
Right.
will pay for the car if it's not found. Even if it gets fined, anything happened to the car, the insurance will pay. What will happen to me if I cry, if I yell, if I no, I choose, and every time that I think about my car, I might get even like 1 second. If it's going to be 1 second out of a thought that I don't like, I will pick a thought that will make me happy, because
Right, right, right.
I'm the master of my emotions. You know, you cannot.
That's
That's the thing.
absolutely
That's how people. I was reading this article the other day. He was saying he was very. That's very mean though, but he was saying 2% of people think, like really think. 3% of people think that they think. 95% of people rather die than think. And he was talking about that mental activity doesn't mean thinking. And after reading,
right.
it was a very, very interesting thing, that we don't think. We don't. That's why a conversation like this, I think, is good, because right now we are in this, it's been pandemic. It's been like for like 2 months we've been in the cage like an animal, right? Again,
Right.
I think being a bodybuilder helped me being this coach that I am today, because I told myself, as a bodybuilder, we put ourselves into this regimen of food and workout for 12 weeks, and then we achieve this certain thing. Brain is the
Right.
same. Brain is the
Right.
same. It's been 8 weeks, and every day, every morning, I wake up and I make myself think something good. When I go to bed at night, yes, of course, I miss everything else, but go through all my posts, go through everything. You will not find even one sentence, me nagging, complaining, or
Right.
saying I miss it. But I do, But you know what I do? Before I go to sleep, I imagine in the morning I'm walking into gym, into Gold's Gym. I see all my bodybuilders. I'm so happy.
That's
That's how
that's
you train your mind.
yeah. That's actually a really good techniques that you're applying for yourself. Now think about a lot of people that don't have the capability to do that, and that's why I'm here to share, with your viewers and some people. And I think sometimes the way to change your state, okay, the first place to go to change your state, for those of you who doesn't know what state is, feelings, focus. So the way to change your state really is the quickest way is to change your physiology. I want you guys to look this woman up. Her name is Amy Cuddy. She's like amazing. She came up with this physiology thing, and it's from an NLP perspective. We know exactly how to help people change state, but the way she come up with those techniques, and I don't want to say it's me, because it's her stuff, and it actually works. So one of the quickest way to do that, to change your state and then change your focus, you got to get into something called power pose, and like for me, when I want to feel more powerful, I go like this. I keep my head this way like that, or I stand up. Yeah, and I stand up, and then if you do it, believe me, if you do it right, what it does, and studies been showing, your testosterone level go 30% increase higher, and then your cortisol level drop tremendously. Yeah. And if you just do that 2 minutes a day, or maybe 2 minutes of multiple times a day, you see a big difference. So what it does, it instantly, automatically changes your state. It puts you into a powerful state, whatever state you want to be in. So I think that's one of the greatest techniques, I'm actually sharing with you guys, how to change your state by going to your physiology. Just like I said to you weeks ago, when you're sad, look at your face. You feel totally sad, totally unhappy, totally depressed, right? Now, when you're happy, if you look at your face, everything is open. You're
exactly.
You're all colorful. Exactly. So what we learned, we thought it was the opposite, but with any theory, it actually works, because it's the quickest way to change your state. So if you change your physiology, the way you stand, like for example, for me, you'll never see me sit down like this.
Exactly.
That's the depression state for me. But I'm always like this, or I'm like this. If I stand up, I'm like this, or I stand up straight, because I get the benefit of both. my testosterone go up. Even if for women, and your stress level just tremendously drop when you do that. And then it puts you in a confident state where you can actually do things. You can refocus to where you need to focus and get things done. Because when you're in a bad state, you cannot get things done. Just like you were just saying, when your car gets stolen, you have a choice to be in a sad state or crying and be depressed. I don't have a car, or the choice you made, you make a choice. Exactly. You make a choice to be in a different state. You know what? What's the benefit of not having a car? I have more times. I can do this. I can do that. You shift your focus towards other stuff because you know yourself that works for you. But for the average people that's listening, and I'm sharing with you, the best way to do that is to change your physiology. Change your physiology is number one. Once you do that, your state, your feelings, your focus, your emotion change rapidly, like within seconds.
Exactly. I do that. And another technique that I teach is breathing, how we breathe. Because
that's
important. Yeah, exactly. And I love that power pose. You know, mine is Superman. I always, every morning I get up in front of a mirror. You can do this.
Yeah.
So,
it helps, right?
I do that before stage 2. Every time I'm gonna go on stage, I'm like, yes, I'm doing this.
Yeah. When you do these power poses, how do you feel? Because I can tell you feel great,
amazing,
right? When you do,
amazing.
You feel amazing, right?
Exactly.
That's exactly.
One thing that I do is breathing, but this kind of like this technique, I picked it up through one of actually it was hypnotherapy that I picked it up from. And that was in that you inhale through your nose, but when you exhale through your mouth, you imagine there's a straw. There's a straw in your mouth, and you exhale very, very slowly. Because if you do that, no matter what state you're in, you cannot be angry, mad, sad, or any kind of, in any kind of pressure when your body exhales that slow. So when you inhale and then start exhaling, that's on the third or fourth, I tried with a lot of my clients too. It's amazing. Like I had this guy, he's actually my neighbor, one of my neighbors, but he's my client. He had panic attacks. He had crazy panic attacks. He couldn't breathe. He couldn't do anything. And the only thing the physiology, the changing of your state is the best, that's the first thing.
I know.
But some people, he couldn't move. He wouldn't move. He was like, he wouldn't even get out of his apartment. So I started with this breathing. Now he's biking. He sent me pictures. He's out over the place and like, he's fine. It took him weeks though. Like, it took him 2-3 weeks, but like, and it's always a mental, it's exactly like a workout. When you work out, as a health coach, as a trainer, I was a trainer before. I used to tell people only 2 more minutes, only 2 more minutes. And it's always a mental discussion that you have with yourself that you can do this.
Exactly.
This is what you can do more. And you can do more if you have this conversation. The same thing happens with thinking too. You have to talk to yourself. You have to, and one thing that you said, there's always 2 people. Yeah. We as humans, we are very mean to ourselves, We are the way we talk, the way we talk to. I always tell people, imagine the way you talk to yourself. If someone in the street talks to you like that, you will slap them in the face. I would, but like we have to learn to be kind to ourselves, to let ourselves off the grip. Like I personally was horrible. One of the things that I do, my goal in life is every morning when I wake up, that day I'm going to do everything in my power to love me, to be nice to me because of the way. And I'm always, this is one thing that we should remember, everybody talks about, a lot of coaches, a lot of my colleagues say transformation is hard, changing. No, it's not. As long as you're committed, as long as till you just love it.
I'm there. Right. No, I completely agree 100%. You know, like I said, and I say this to my client, when you have to be very careful what you say to yourself, because someone else is listening to you, you know, and that's your unconscious mind. You got the conscious, which is 10%, the unconscious 90%. So when you say silly stuff to yourself, the unconscious mind is what runs the body, the entire body. So anything you say, they'll give it back to you. If you say, you know, you're never gonna be a good person, you're never always gonna be this, you're always gonna be that, you're gonna get that. You know what I mean? But so that's why I said it's very important to know what to say, you know, to yourself. You gotta say positive stuff. I'm a very kind person. I'm gonna do this. I'm a powerful person. I'm this. I'm that. Because whatever you say, that's what you get back. You know, and
Whatever
because
you
that other
think, you
person that's
become.
listening to you, huh?
Whatever you think, you become. You know, that's how it is. That's
Absolutely. Yeah, you
as
become.
simple as it is.
Yeah, yeah. So really, the message is really simple. Whatever, if you don't take focus of your mind of yourself, the environment will do that for you. Okay, so that's number one. Very important. I don't know whoever's listening, if that makes sense,
Exactly.
or if you have any questions, you can also type some questions. Number one, if the environment will take control of your focus for you. So you got to ask yourself, who's the driver? Am I the driver or someone else is? Okay, and then be careful what the things that you take into your mindset, what you believe. Whatever you believe, you experience that becomes your experience. So when certain information that's coming out there, especially on the internet and YouTube, I if it's not good for me, I don't take that. I say to myself, delete, 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 delete. My mind works like a computer, so I use the word delete, delete, delete. So I don't
Exactly.
want that information. You know what I mean? Because I know what could that do to me because I don't want that to become my experience. You know, so my focus these days is not I'm not focusing um like I'm doing right now. I'm doing this right now. I'm not focusing how I should be looking good or how I should be speaking properly. I don't focus. That's focusing too much on myself. As long as I focus on the message that I'm trying to put out there, whoever's listening to it, that it can help. That's all that my job is to
Yeah.
focus on my message. You know, however it comes out, it comes out. You know, because we as a coach, sometimes if we have to curse, we curse. If we have to speak a certain way, we speak a certain way. If we have to trump down to a five level, fifth grader level, then so be it. You know, it depends on who which we looking to help. So that's my point of view on that. And then the words that we say to ourselves is very important. You know, if you say that, you know, you'll never become a pro, you'll never do this, you'll never do that, then you start feeling this, then that becomes your experience, then chances are you'll never accomplish that, you know, versus if you say something, you know, I'm going to do this, I may not become a pro today, but tomorrow I will, or it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And then eventually it's going to happen. And then what you do, you put that into a movie. You put all your focus, your beliefs, and the words you say to yourself into a movie, into a story. You know, our next topic could be a story, the story that we tell ourselves. That's also a
Exactly.
good topic to talk about. And then you put it into a story, and then I don't know if you remember the tape recorder. All you have to do, you just place rewind and play every time you can, every time, 30
Exactly.
times a day, and that story will become your reality.
Exactly, exactly. You know that one thing that I remember as a kid, I was raised by my grandmother, and she used to write stuff. You see, my place is full of sticker. That's all. Like that's another thing. But all over my place, on the mirror, and everywhere, I have stuff
You're
that
more
I put
organized
on
than
it.
me.
Yeah. You know, when a UX designer becomes a writer, these are the line of stories that I do. But my grandma used to say, and I always ask Mommy, why are you doing this? She would say, because I don't want to forget. And I was like, why? You're not old. Why would you want to forget? And she would say, it's not about being old. It's about, I want to remember this every time. Every time I want to remember this. And this was the thing that even my mom did to me. I grew up with the word I can't deleted out of my vocabulary. Not just me and my two brothers. There was no such thing as I can't. We would and this is a conscious thing that you do, I would never say never. I would say, I will always do this instead of saying never doing that. So my mom had these words that would be negative impact and positive impact. So we had this jar at home. If we used word hate, bad, I don't want to do this. Even if we wanted to say something negative, we had to say it in a positive way. Instead of saying, I don't want to do, instead of saying, I don't like this, we had to say, I would like to have this one. Yeah. So that was conscious. Yeah, that was the conscious thing that we did as a kid. And I think this is very important, how we talk to our children, how we talk to our younger people, and even with ourselves. The way we talk to ourselves sometimes is not even us. It might be our mother, it might be our father, it might be our grandmother, it might be someone who said something in our childhood. And as a grown-up, we don't know the effect, In my story, I set my condition of being a fighter the moment that I thought that I was dying. And my mom thought I was dying. I promise you. Like my mom talked to me the other day and she was like, my God, I ruined all your life. And I was like, Mom, it's not about you. But she was telling me that I remember that day. I remember you were dying. I remember I was scared. But she doesn't even remember that she was saying those things. But in those small, beautiful brain of a little kid, we make it giant. And 80% of our personality, 80% of our life shapes before we're 5. And that is very important. And one of the things that I encourage listeners to do is to sit with yourself and find the reason of why you talk to yourself the way you do, and change it. Because all the rules, every single rule that you put on yourself, from a girl should do that or a guy should do that, these are all bullshit rules. These are the rules that you can break. And you can change.
That's true. And then find fulfillment.
Exactly. The moment I told myself, I'm done being a fighter, everything is going to be easy, my life changed. Not in that moment, but every day I told myself, everything is easy. Everything is easy. I get this easy. I can do this. I can do this easy. And everything changed. And I promise you, if my mom that day in that room had told me, baby, just be happy. You're not going to die. Just be happy. My life would be totally different, And that's the way it is. That's how I believe that we can find everywhere, everything that stops us, every belief that is limiting us, we can find a reason and change it. And even if you don't find the reason, you don't have to find the reason. Just change it because it doesn't serve you.
Absolutely, I completely agree. In your story, between you and your mom, it makes a lot of sense. And obviously, I can tell you very, you understand the thing that you say to yourself has meaningful, and it's important, And for me, one of my experience beside coaching, when I'm getting ready for a prep, I made a post the other day. I tell myself a story, and my story is always important. It's extremely important, because if I don't build a story,
exactly,
and then I'm gonna get lost. So the story that we tell ourselves is extremely, extremely important. It can either break you, or it can empower you, or limit you. It's very important. There's only two things stories do. It limits you or empower you. So I remember one time I was getting ready to compete, 2012, and I was coming from the Arnold Classic, Ohio, and I came home. We had a huge fire. I didn't have a place to stay, and I just started prepping. that didn't stop me from prepping, you know. So I was staying in a hotel, and then I still continue. You know, I lost everything. So, but I still continue prepping, going back and forth back and forth in the hotel, in the gym, and you know, that year I came in about third place. So had I let that simple thing, break me at the time, I would have never know what I have inside of me to get things done. So because life still go on, the bill's still coming, everything else still coming. So you gotta find a way to rise above that and make things happen. You know, make things happen. So it's very important to understand the story that you tell yourself. And there's plenty of topics that I would like to discuss. Obviously, you know, we have to break it week by week and then make it interesting, and then hopefully more people can come on board and understand these techniques and how you can help yourself. You know, and because we've been through these experiences as a person and as a professional, we know how that works. So, you know, and I'm really pressing on this. Really, what your focus is extremely important. Wherever you focus, energy goes. So, and your
Exactly.
focus, yeah, and your focus, you feel whatever it is you focus on. So
Exactly.
if you don't want to feel like shit, you don't want to feel like crap, you gotta change your focus. I know it's easy to say than do, because a lot of times I don't know. Sometimes there are things that can happen to you. Who am I to tell you to change your focus? It hurts. You know what I mean?
No,
I
no, no, no,
know. I'm not
no.
saying it doesn't hurt.
You are you are right. You are kind of right. But I think again, I think no matter what situation, and believe me, I've been in crazy situation, and I'm not a good at statistic. I will say that too. But I see a lot of people. I work with a lot of people. I had clients that told me I will never ever be happy, right? And this is the shittiest life. And as a coach, if I give into their stories, I'm useless. You know, I always say I have total compassion for you. I'm not going to sit in the dark with you because I'm not darkness. I'm
There you
lightness.
go. That's
I
awesome.
have exactly. I have compassion. It's not empathy. And if I want to, if for a moment, there are sometimes I want to like even cry. And I told myself, if you give into their stories, you are useless. We are
Yeah,
so powerful, no matter what we're dealing with. In an instant, you know, I was
yeah,
on the floor. I was on the floor howling like an animal. In an instant, I got up and my life changed. I had a choice there. I could stay there. I could get up.
right.
The moment I changed, everything changed. Okay, 5 minutes later, I was there again, but I did it again and again and again and again, right? So the
Yeah,
focus that
yeah,
you're talking about, I always say, imagine number 8, 6, and 4, okay? 4, 6, 8. Imagine these numbers. Think about it. Go out. You're gonna, every single car that you see, you're probably gonna see 10 cars with these numbers on. Why? Because you were focusing on it, right? Or for example, let's say if you smoke and you quit smoking, you go out, everybody are smoking in your eyes. Why? Till yesterday you didn't notice because you were smoking too and it wasn't a big deal. But today you cannot smoke anymore. So you go out and you see, oh my God, there it is, there it is, there it is. That's how it is.
right,
If
right.
you focus on something shitty, yes, there are people that no matter what you're dealing with, you have your imagination. And that's the most powerful thing we have. We can
Right.
imagine anything at any moment. And that's how you change your focus. I think that's how you can change your state, even if you're
Yeah.
in
So
prison, you know?
I completely agree. And so here's what I'd like to tell you, viewers. You know, take these three things: focus, beliefs, and word you say to yourself, and put them into a story, in a positive story. If you have to write them down, write them down. For me, I have my power state right here and there.
Definitely write them
Other people
down.
too.
Definitely.
You
Yeah,
see,
definitely write
can
them
you
down.
can you see
Yeah.
this? This is my triangle powerful. In the middle it says powerful. So this is what I look at every day for me when I wake up. So it's got focus, believe. In the middle it's got like a powerful and physiology and all that stuff. So whatever it is you have to do to write it down for yourself.
This is what
There
I
you
do. I'm enough. I'm enough. This is one thing I always tell myself because I
Yeah,
think this is one of the most powerful things, you know. So
yeah.
write it
To
down.
remind you, yeah, to write your story down and then say it to yourself over and over. And then if you feel like you down in you're in a different state, like in a sad state, you know, like I said, the best way to do it is to change your physiology. That's the quickest way to get out of it. Stand up,
Exactly. Always.
stretch, get a power pose, you know, whatever works, whatever state you want to be in. For me, it's powerful. Or if you want to be in a state where it is confident, get in that confident pose, and then, or if you want to be in a happy pose, get into that happy pose, you know, and that will get you there in an instant. Because I'm telling you, you cannot produce anything when you're sad. You cannot produce anything when you're angry. You cannot produce anything when you're in a bad state. So
Exactly.
it doesn't serve you anything. So why do I want to be in a state that doesn't serve me? And time is flying. You know, there's things that I want to be productive. I want to do things. I want to get things done. I want to make things happen. But if I'm in a sad state, I'm there's nothing I can do. So the best thing to do, really, you guys, is to put all that into a story and rewind that story, play it over and over, and then until you start believing your own crap. Nobody have to believe it as long as you believe your own
You
shit.
believe it, yeah. Exactly. You have to believe it. No one else have to. Yeah, that was a good
Yeah,
point. Yeah. As
yeah.
long as
You
you
gotta be.
believe it, you don't need.
Yeah, you don't need to because what happened is I don't want to be too long, but another there are 4 steps to how to what's the word I'm looking for? How to become powerful. You know, first you create a story, and then you start believing your own stuff, and then once you believe it, you play it over and over, and then you become that story. You know, and that's how
Exactly.
you become powerful, whatever it is. Because this is how if you watch these powerful people, these politicians, this is exactly what they do. They manifest something, they believe it, they play it over and over, and they say it over and over and over until so now they create this energy inside of them, this magnetic and then it becomes on the outside, right? And then now
Exactly.
that magnetic only attract to people who believe the same thing. So now you're
Exactly.
like, oh, this because I believe that, so now you attract that. So, but that's how it is. But you gotta do the process on your own first, you know, and then once you have that same mindset, you're only gonna attract people with that same type of mindset. And that's why they say, you
Totally
know,
agree.
what's the word? Yeah, and they say these things. So you really got to. It's important. I can't stress on this anymore because I'm telling you, when I work with clients, I'm not here to listen to your problem. What I say to you, the minute you start giving me 2 minutes, I'll listen to for a minute, and I put the brakes on, and then and I
Exactly.
tell you, why don't you let's celebrate a story that's happened this week. Can we celebrate anything? You can't tell me you spend the entire week you have nothing that happened that wasn't good for you. There's got to be something, especially if you have a family or a phone call, you talk to someone, you hear something. There's got to be something. Let's celebrate that instead, you know. And then we grow on that, you know. So that's my one of my techniques I use. You
That's
know,
amazing. That's I